This is Unit 2, Lesson 9, the last problem on the notes. All right, so on this particular problem, we're given that MOR and LOQ are lines, NO is perpendicular to LO, and PO is perpendicular to OR, and we want to prove that MON, which is this angle right here, is congruent to QOP, which is that angle right there. Okay, so we need a plan of action. All right, so looking at my information here, I'm going to work from something that I know. All right, I know what perpendicular does. So let's see if that helps me out with my problem at all. All right, so I have NO is perpendicular to LO. And I also have that PO is perpendicular to OR. Okay, that's given. All right, now, what does perpendicular give me? Well, it gives me right angle. So if I have perpendicular NO and LO, what right angle is that going to give me? It's going to give me angle NOL, which is right there. Oh, that might help me. Now, also, PO is perpendicular to OR. PO is perpendicular to OR. That's also going to be a right angle. It's going to be right angle POR. So if perpendicular lines make right angles, aren't these two angles also going to be congruent? Yeah, they are. So we're actually going to combine, remember I said all right angles are congruent with the perpendicular definition? Perpendicular lines form congruent right angles. Okay, so that kind of combines the step so that we can say that angle NOL is congruent to angle POR. Perpendicular lines make right angles, and all right angles are congruent, so perpendicular lines form congruent right angles. Okay, now we have a pair of right angles right there, and the green angle is part of that. So that implies we're going to have to use what eventually? We're going to have to use subtraction. All right, we're going to have to use subtraction to get the angles that we want. But we only have one set of angles here. What is the other set of angles that we're going to have to prove congruent in order to subtract? Well, we've got this one is this one. So if we subtract this angle and this angle, then we have the green angles. But those two angles have to be congruent. Are they? Yes, they are. Notice this given right here. We have another given. MOR and LOQ. All right, now we just have two lines there, but notice what do they have in common? They have point O in common, so that implies that the lines intersect. What do intersecting lines make? They make vertical angles. All right, so intersecting lines make congruent vertical angles. All right, so what are my congruent vertical angles? Would be LOM is congruent to ROQ. Okay, so now I've just proved that this angle and this angle are congruent. So now I can take the right angles and the vertical angles and subtract them, and I end up with the green angles. So I'm going to take NOL minus LOM, and I get angle MON. This minus this. And angle POR, the right angle, subtracting out ROQ, gives me angle QOP. And that's using subtraction on numbers 2, that should be 4 and 5. On numbers 2 and 4. And I just proved what I wanted to prove. Okay, now this could have also been done with complements, but it's a little harder. So I would do it this way. The subtraction worked just fine. All right, so that is the end of the notes. You have your homework to start on this. Keep in mind that there is more than one way of doing the proof. The answers are on the back are not the only way to do it. So if you want to apply a different method, it's possible you may be able to if you can back it up. All right, you can get to work on your homework.